Hello students, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is a special lecture where we will discuss what is new in this updated NCERT book and how it will impact our video lectures. I would suggest you to watch this lecture very carefully. Though we will not be learning anything new in this session. If you want to skip, you can skip, don't worry, but if you want to understand how it will impact your study from now on, then I would suggest you to watch it. Okay, so the objectives of this lecture will be to know what is new in the updated NCERT book. So we will see what is the new things, or if there is anything new in this book or not. We will see that do we need to start again, do we need to discard all the video lectures and start our series again. We will see how we will proceed from now on, because since after the introduction of new book we will have to cover the new book completely, so we will see how we will cover all of these. What to keep in mind while reading the new book. I would suggest you to pay focus to this point when I will explain it, because it is very important. So we will cover what to keep in mind while reading from this new book if you are reading on your own. If you are reading from your school teacher, if you are taking tuition classes, then you can skip. But if you are reading on your own, then there are few things that you must keep in your mind. Okay, so let's start with the first topic. What is new in this new book? The new book is better organized than the previous one. The previous book which we were covering so far was organized in units which were further divided into chapters, but the new book is organized into different chapters, which makes it easy to sequence. Also, since in the previous book the book was divided into the units, so some related topics were covered in different chapters. But since this new book is organized into chapters, all the related topics are covered in a same chapter. Python version is updated. In the previous book, the code written was in Python 2.7, which is updated, which is outdated. But in the new book, the Python version which is used to write the code is 3.7. So if you are learning Python, then this book is very helpful as compared to the previous one. Okay, because the code which will be written in this book will work on your IDLE. Okay, social impacts and emerging trends are in focus. So social impacts of using internet, like how to use internet and what are the impacts of internet, and how not to misuse the internet. All these things are given more attention, and emerging trends like big data and Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, these are also given focus. So overall I can say that the things which are generally taught at the university level are included in this book. So it will be little bit difficult for many students, but if you follow these lectures which I will make for you, then I would ensure you that you will face no difficulty in covering all these things. Okay, because I have worked in all these things while I was working as a software engineer, so I will ensure you that I will teach you all these things in the simplest manner. Okay, so these are the things which I was able to find in chapter 1 and 2 and also in 3. Okay, so what are these things? I will explain you right here right now, so that you do not need to cover once again the entire book. Okay, so in the input devices, a new device is mentioned, which is Braille keyboard. Braille keyboard was actually introduced in 2017. It was also called iDot keyboard or something like that. So it is an input device. So what happens in the Braille keyboard is, like in our keyboard the characters are printed like ABCD, equality, 1 2 3 4, but in the Braille keyboard the characters are engraved using the plastic. Okay, so some symbol will be engraved on the key so that the blind person, the person who could not see, can understand what is written on the key. Okay, so braille keyboard is an input device that you need to remember. 3D printer is also a new device. I'm sure that you have heard of 3D printer. 3D printer can make 3D models. It is widely used in medical sciences to create new limbs like artificial ear or artificial nose or these kind of things. So 3D printer is a output device. Okay, so far we were reading only 2D only printer, simple printer like our laser printer, desktop printer, or our daisy chain printer, but 3D printer is the new device which is a output device, and it is widely used in medical science. Okay, in emerging trends you will cover big data, IoT, WOT, machine language, and AI. This is chapter 3, and I will cover all of these in the next lecture, which will be related to chapter 3. Okay, you do not need to worry about these things right now. Actually, we have covered most of these things in brief, but in the new book these things are explained in much detail, so we will once again cover them as required by the updated curriculum. Okay, you do not need to worry about it. I will teach you all of these things. There is also one another topic, Turing machine concept. It is in chapter 1. So what is Turing machine concept? आप लोगों ने एनिग्मा मूवी देखी है जिसमें बेनेडिक्ट कम्बरबैच था, उसका नाम एलन ट्यूरिंग था. तो एलन ट्यूरिंग ने एक मशीन बनाई थी जिसे ट्यूरिंग मशीन कहा जाता है. तो ट्यूरिंग मशीन का कंसेप्ट ये है कि कोई कंप्यूटर जो है वो एक ह्यूमन को कितना इमिटेट कर सकता है. मतलब इफ़ आई एम अ पर्सन और यू आर अ पर्सन and you are talking to a computer or playing game with a computer or you are giving commands to a computer, if the computer is able to disguise as a human, मतलब कि अगर आप नहीं बता पाते कि वो सामने कंप्यूटर आपका काम कर रहा है या ह्यूमन आपका काम कर रहा है, तो उसे हम ट्यूरिंग कंसेप्ट कहते हैं और उसी पे बेस्ड है ट्यूरिंग मशीन कंसेप्ट. इसी को ही हम ट्यूरिंग मशीन कंसेप्ट भी कहते हैं. मतलब ability of a computer to disguise as a human being is known as Turing machine concept. Okay, now this is only this much definition is included in chapter 1. You do not need to go back to chapter 1. Okay, next is Moore's law. Moore's law is basically taught in university level. So Moore's law क्या था? Gordon Moore was the founder of Intel Corporation that makes our microprocessors. Okay, so what Gordon Moore said that after every 2 years the number of components on a single chip or single IC will double while the cost of that chip will become half. यानी कि सपोज आज मेरे पास एक IC है जिसमें कि 5 कंपोनेंट्स इंटीग्रेटेड हैं, तो 2 साल बाद उतने ही स्पेस में उसी आईसी पे हम 10 कंपोनेंट्स को इनग्रेव कर पाएंगे, ठीक है, या फैब्रिकेट कर पाएंगे, यानी कि 5 का डबल हो गया और उस आईसी का कॉस्ट जितना पहले था उसका हाफ हो जाएगा. सो दैट वाज द मूरेज लॉ. You do not need to go back and cover it once again. That is why I have explained it right here, right now. Okay. Next is SLSI. See, हमने पढ़ा था LSI, हमने पढ़ा था MSI. We have covered VLSI. After VLSI, the enhanced version of VLSI we can say is SLSI. The full form of SLSI is Super Large Scale Integration. Okay. There is, आपसे ये नहीं पूछेगा कि कितने कंपोनेंट्स इनग्रेव कर हम फैब्रिकेट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि जो बुक में डेटा दिया हुआ है वो गलत है. ओके. फर्स्ट IBM PC, this is mentioned in the new book. First IBM PC was introduced in 1981. You need to remember only this much. First IBM PC या पीसी जिसे कि हम होम पे यूज़ करते हैं, लाइक आवर लैपटॉप्स और आवर डेस्कटॉप, it was introduced in 1981. You need to remember only this much. Okay, next is memory controller. Memory controller is a software or a device which is used to control the memory input and output. See, we know that data can be we can either input the data or output the data to the or from the CPU. So memory controller is a device which can be used to put the data on the lines. A CPU can generate the address where the data should be sent, and this memory controller will put the data on the bus so that the data can be reached on the address which was generated by the CPU. यानी कि CPU एक एड्रेस जनरेट करेगा एड्रेस बस में, और मेमोरी कंट्रोलर उस बस पर डेटा को पुट करेगा और वो डेटा उस जो पर्टिकुलर मेंशन्ड एड्रेस था वहाँ पे स्टोर हो जाएगा. देन देयर इज़ अनदर डिवाइस कॉल्ड माइक्रो कंट्रोलर. माइक्रो कंट्रोलर इज सेम लाइक एम्बेडेड कंप्यूटर्स. ओके, हमने माइक्रो प्रोसेसर तो समझा था. माइक्रो प्रोसेसर इज़ अ CPU ऑन अ सिंगल चिप, बट माइक्रो कंट्रोलर इज़ अ सिंपल कंप्यूटर और इंटायर कंप्यूटर ऑन अ सिंगल चिप. यानी कि माइक्रो कंट्रोलर में इनपुट डिवाइस, आउटपुट डिवाइस, मेमोरी, CPU सब कुछ एक ही चिप पर हमारा फैब्रिकेटेड रहेगा. जनरली माइक्रो कंट्रोलर्स कहाँ यूज़ होते हैं? हमारी स्मार्ट डिवाइसेस में, लाइक आर ऑटोमेटिक वॉशिंग मशीन्स और आर ऑटोमेटिक डिवाइसेस. यहाँ पे हमारा माइक्रो कंट्रोलर यूज़ होता है. ओके, इतना ही आपको समझ रहे हैं, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं पूछेगा. ओके, नाउ टाइप्स ऑफ डेटा. हमने डेटा तो पढ़ा था कि डेटा क्या होता है, इंफॉर्मेशन क्या होता है, बट न्यू बुक में क्या किया है कि सिंस उन्हें बिग डेटा को समझाना है, और बिग डेटा में एक टर्म आती है स्ट्रक्चर्ड सेमी स्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा. सो यहाँ पे न्यू बुक में चैप्टर 1 में टाइप्स ऑफ डेटा को मेंशन किया है. टाइप्स ऑफ डेटा कैन बी स्ट्रक्चर्ड, अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड एंड सेमी स्ट्रक्चर्ड. नाउ व्हाट आर द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा? लाइक योर एक्सेल सीट और योर DBMS, जहाँ पे हमारा डेटा बिल्कुल एक स्ट्रिक्ट फॉर्मेट को फॉलो करता है, उसे हम स्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा कहेंगे. ठीक है. अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड यहाँ यानी कि कोई फिक्स्ड रिस्ट्रिक्टेड फॉर्मेट नहीं है. जैसे कि हमारा ऑडियो है, ऑडियो कितना भी लेंदी हम कर सकते हैं. वीडियो है, कितना भी लेंदी कर सकते हैं. इमेज है, इमेज का साइज़ कुछ भी हो सकता है, हम कोई भी इमेज खींच सकते हैं, है ना. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हम हर बार कुछ 5-6 चीज़ों की ही इमेज खींच सकते हैं. इट इज़ नॉट रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू दैट. सो ऑल दिस काइंड ऑफ डेटा आर कॉल्ड अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा. ऑल्सो लाइक our emails, we can write anything or any amount of data in our email, any information in our email. So all these are examples of unstructured data. Now what is semi structured data? Semi structured data is somewhat like structured, but it is not as restricted as structured data. Semi structured data में हमारी HTML कोड्स आ जाएंगे और हमारी CSV फाइल्स जो कि एक्सेल फाइल्स के जैसी ही होती हैं वो आ जाती हैं. ठीक है. सो सेमी स्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा विल कंटेन और कवर आर HTML कोड्स एंड आर CSV फाइल्स. ओके, CSV मीन्स कॉमा सेपरेटेड वैल्यूज. यू डू नॉट नीड टू रिमेंबर दिस full form, you just need to remember HTML files and CSV files are semi-structured data. Now data capturing, storage and retrieval is also included. This is also included because in chapter 3 we will cover the big data. So what is data capturing? Data capturing means capturing some data using some form on the internet, like our comments, like the comments or the status updates we post on our Facebook or Instagram. मतलब हम वेब या इंटरनेट पर या किसी भी इंटरफेस के थ्रू जब हम कोई डेटा सबमिट करते हैं तो उसे डेटा कैप्चरिंग कह सकते हैं. जैसे हम फेसबुक पे स्टेटस अपडेट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, या हम कमेंट लिख रहे हैं, तो वहाँ पे हमारा डेटा कैप्चर हो रहा है. या कोई हम किसी फॉर्म पे हम जैसे रजिस्टर करते हैं या अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन फिल करते हैं, तो वो भी एक डेटा कैप्चरिंग है. ओके. देन डेटा स्टोरेज मीन्स स्टोरेज ऑफ डेटा इन सम database or some device. Okay. Retrieval of data means retrieving the stored data. मतलब कि data was stored somewhere and we are trying to fetch that data, that stored data, and this process is known as data retrieval. So I hope now all three things are clear to you. After it, there are few more updates like classification of softwares. In the previous book, we classified the softwares according to our system softwares and our application softwares. But in the new book, they have introduced programming tools as a new subset. Means now you will cover system software, application software, as well as programming tools. Now what are these programming tools? Programming tools like your IDLE, your IDEs, means your compilers, all your IDEs, whether it is NetBeans or your Eclipse or your Python IDLE, all these are programming environments. Also your programming languages like Java, Python, C++, all these things are now included in programming tools. Okay. So if I ask you what kind of software is your Python IDLE, you will not take system software, you will not take application software, you will take programming tools. If there is no option for programming tools, then you will go for your utilities or system softwares. Okay. Now types of operating systems are also updated. However, I do not agree to this classification because this is incorrect in some ways, but since you have to get the marks, so you have to read these. But I would suggest you to just do not get too much serious about this classification, just read it for your exams perspective. Okay. So in the previous book we covered that the operating systems can be of many types like multi-purpose, multi-processing, or multi-user, single user, all these kind of things. So in new book the operating systems are now of 5 types. First one is command line interface. Okay, so basically these are types of interface of operating system. Command line interface like our Unix, GUI like your Windows or Linux, and now touch based like your touch devices, your smartphones. Gesture based like your, you can say your PSPs or your gaming consoles. And your voice based can be like your some Siri or Cortana, like your voice assistants. Okay. Gesture based are also used in medical facilities where your movements of your eyes or your hands are monitored. Okay. So these are all the new things. There is nothing that you need to go back and cover. All of the new things like these big data, IoT, WOT, ML and AI I will cover in the next lecture. And there are few mistakes that I came across while covering the chapter 1. So these are the few mistakes. First one is control bus is mentioned as unidirectional in the new book, but control bus is bidirectional. When we covered the system bus, we covered 3 types of buses: address bus, control bus and data bus. So in the new book control bus is mentioned as unidirectional, but it is a mistake, it is a wrong information. Control bus is bidirectional. Okay, if this question comes in exam, you will write bidirectional. If your marks is deducted, then you will simply file an RTI. Okay, but yeah, it is totally up to you, but it is my responsibility to tell you what is incorrect and what is correct. Also another thing that is incorrect is ENIAC or ENIAC is mentioned as first von Neumann machine in the computer, while ENIAC was not a von Neumann machine. ADVAC was the first von Neumann machine, while ENIAC was not at all von Neumann machine. Actually there is a story behind this. When the developers of this ENIAC was working on ENIAC machine, they came across the concept which was later known as von Neumann architecture. But since ENIAC जो था इसे यूएस की डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ डिफेंस ने पूरा फाइनेंस किया था, सो जो दो लोग थे जो इसे बना रहे थे वो थोड़ा से स्केप्टिकल थे, वो थोड़ा सा बताना नहीं चाहते थे कि इससे बेटर एक कंसेप्ट है. तो उन्होंने एक जॉन वॉन न्यूमन नाम के एक साइंटिस्ट थे, एक प्रोफेसर थे, उन्हें बताया कि भाई देखो एक ऐसा कंसेप्ट है उससे जो है कंप्यूटर्स बेटर हो सकते हैं. सो these guys who were developing the ENIAC, Joseph P. Escart and John Mauchly, they did not mention that von Neumann architecture was basically their idea. So John von Neumann introduced von Neumann architecture, and ADVAC was the first machine that was based on von Neumann. और ADVAC को भी, ADVAC जो मशीन थी, जो कंप्यूटर था, उसे भी उन्हीं लोगों ने बनाया था, उन्हीं दो इंजीनियर्स ने बनाया था जिन्होंने ENIAC को बनाया था. ओके. एंड द थर्ड मिस्टेक दैट आई केम अक्रॉस वाज द नंबर ऑफ कंपोनेंट्स इन SLSI. ओके. सी, SLSI इज़ एडवांस्ड फॉर्म ऑफ VLSI. तो SLSI में डेफिनेटली VLSI से ज़्यादा कंपोनेंट्स को हम फैब्रिकेट कर सकेंगे. बट इन द बुक इट इज़ मैंशन्ड दैट SLSI can fabricate up to 106 components, which is totally wrong. SLSI can fabricate millions of components on a single chip. So you should be worried about all these mistakes. That is why whenever you read the book on your own, I would suggest you to watch these lectures, or I would suggest you to take reference from standard books or the internet. However, I do not agree with this new book. I think that the new book will basically put a lot of burden on the students. देखो, जिसे कंप्यूटर साइंस में ही करना है उसके लिए तो ठीक है, बट बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स होंगे जिन्हें फिज़िक्स में कुछ काम करना है, केमिस्ट्री में करना है, ठीक है, बायोलॉजी में डॉक्टर बनना है, उनके लिए ये अननेसेसरी बर्डन थोड़ा सा है. बट इट इज़ ए गुड इनिशिएटिव, आई वुड से. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज सोशल इम्पैक्ट्स. सोशल इम्पैक्ट्स इज इंक्लूडेड. सो सोशल इम्पैक्ट्स में भी हम कुछ चीज़ें कवर करेंगे कि आपको हाउ टू बिहेव व्हेन यू आर यूजिंग इंटरनेट, हाउ टू सिक्योरली ब्राउज इंटरनेट, एंड हाउ टू यूज़ basic settings, okay, like privacy and all these things we will cover. This is, I think, 11th chapter in the new book. Okay, so you do not need to worry about it right now. I will teach you each thing, each smallest, minutest and important thing जो भी आपके लिए necessary है, मैं आप सबको वो चीज़ें टीच करूँगा. ठीक है. How to proceed now. अब since new book आ गई है तो हमें इसे तो कवर करना ही पड़ेगा. सो हाउ डू वी प्रोसीड फ्रॉम नाउ ऑन. सी, अभी तक मैंने जितना पढ़ाया है वो टोटली मैच करता है चैप्टर 1 और चैप्टर 2 से. ठीक है. इसके बाद जितना भी हम स्टार्ट करेंगे वो न्यू बुक के चैप्टर 3 से करेंगे, जो कि सीक्वेंशली हमारी ओल्ड बुक से ही मैच करता है. ठीक है. ज़्यादा चीज़ें न्यू नहीं हैं. मैंने आपके लिए कोड न्यू बुक के अकॉर्डिंग, न्यू वर्जन के अकॉर्डिंग ही बनाया था, तो कोडिंग में भी आपको कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. वो तो बुक आने से पहले ही मैंने आपके लिए प्रिपेयर कर लिया था. ओके. सो ओनली चेंज दैट विल हैपन इज़ हम न्यू बुक के सीक्वेंस को फॉलो करेंगे. ओके. वी विल कवर एंटायर थिंग. हम कोई चीज़ नहीं छोड़ेंगे. ओके. डो नॉट वरी अबाउट इट. द ओनली डिफरेंस that will happen is we will be following the sequence of new book instead of the old book. Okay. And what to keep in mind. See, मैंने आपको बताया कि न्यू बुक में कुछ मिस्टेक्स हैं. At your level it is possible that you do not know what is right and what is wrong. So I would suggest you कि आप बुक पढ़ते वक्त एक बार इन वीडियो लेक्चर्स को देखें, या फिर मुझे कोई मिस्टेक्स मिलेगी तो मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि टेलीग्राम पे आपको स्क्रीनशॉट्स दे दूँ, जिससे कि अगर आपका मन नहीं है यार वीडियो देखने का कि यार सर इतनी बोरिंग वीडियोस बना रहे हैं, सो यू विल बी एबल टू गेट अपडेटेड बाय दोज स्क्रीनशॉट्स. आपको पता रहेगा कि क्या गलत है, कहाँ पे मिस्टेक है और उसे कैसे ठीक करना है. ओके, डू नॉट वरी अबाउट इट. So this is also the end of the lecture. In the next lecture we will start from chapter 3 which is emerging trends. और emerging trends में ही हम big data, IoT, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, मशीन लर्निंग, इन सारी चीज़ों को थोड़ा सा डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे. पढ़ा तो हमने पहले भी है बट इस बार हम थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा डिटेल लेवल में पढ़ेंगे, समझने की कोशिश करेंगे, उनकी डिटेल्स को समझने की कोशिश करेंगे और ये जानेंगे कि एग्ज़ाम में कहाँ से हमारे क्वेश्चंस आ सकते हैं. ओके, टिल देन टेक केयर.